know what's killing attraction in his first 5 seconds? Saying hi, saying hello. It's plain, it's dry, it's background noise. And I need you to understand, when you say something every other woman says, you become forgettable real quick. You gotta understand the game now. The moment you open your mouth, you're either drawing him in or you're fading into the crowd. That's the truth. So stop saying hi like you're calling the customer service line. That's not how you spark chemistry. That's not how you leave a mark. You gotta come with something that makes him pause, blink, and think, wait, what did she just say? The moment you open your mouth, you've already said everything about yourself before he even has time to think. First impressions, that very first second, they don't give you a second chance. That's the window right there. Either you own it or you lose it. Most people think first impressions are about looks, but it's not just how you look, it's how you speak, how you carry yourself, how you enter a room like you belong in it. And nothing exposes your energy faster than the first words you say. That greeting you use, that first sentence, it sets the tone for everything. If you walk up to him and say hi, like a stranger at the checkout line, then you've already missed the opportunity. You didn't catch his soul. You didn't stir nothing in him. You became another polite blur in a world full of them. See, the way you greet someone is more powerful than you think. It's the headline to your story. And if the headline is dull, no one wants to read what comes next. If you want to make a man curious, you got to open your mouth with presence, with purpose. A weak hello doesn't shake a man out of his world. It doesn't pull him into yours. But if you say something bold, playful, or unexpected, it snaps him out of his thoughts. It makes him wonder who you are. Now that's power. You're not just exchanging words. You're creating a memory, a mark. Think about it. The people you remember the most in life aren't the ones who were quiet, polite, or forgettable. They're the ones who said something different, something that hit you right in the chest. That energy they had in the first few seconds, it stayed with you. That's what I'm telling you to build. You want him to feel something right when you open your mouth. You want him to look at you and think, she's different. I want to know more. That doesn't come from saying hi. That comes from saying something real, something original, something that breaks his pattern. Let's be honest. Men are visual, yes, but they're also creatures of habit. And most women do the same thing. Same greeting, same smile, same polite energy. But when you approach him with something he didn't expect, maybe it's humor, maybe it's mystery, he lights up. You disrupt the routine. You bring color to a gray world. And in that moment, you've got his full attention. Not just his eyes, but his mind, his emotions. And if you can touch those, you've got him thinking about you long after you're gone. That first word you say, make it rich, make it warm, make it bold. Say something that feels like you thought about it, even if you didn't. Say something that puts a spark in the air. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You can say, there you are. Or I was wondering if you'd show up today. Or you always make this place better. That's not just a greeting, that's presence, that's style, that's something that cuts through the noise. He's heard hi 1,000,000 times, but he's never heard you say what you just said. And don't forget your tone, your smile, your energy. They all wrap around your words. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. You say something with confidence, and he feels it. He remembers it. First impressions, they're not about perfection. They're about energy. Make him feel like you're the one woman in the room who knows her value without saying it outright. And when you speak, let your words match that power. One word, one sentence. That's all it takes to shift the entire connection in your favor. Make it count. Let's talk real for a second. You out here trying to get a man's attention, trying to leave a lasting impression, and the first thing out of your mouth is, "Hi?" Really? You think a man's gonna stop everything he's doing, lose his breath, forget the whole world just because you said hello? That's what everybody says. That's what the grocery store cashier says. That's what your coworker says when she walks past your desk. It's generic, it's flat. It don't carry no weight. There's no spice, no flavor, no intrigue in hi. You're not standing out, you're blending in. And in a world where everyone is trying to be seen, blending in is the worst move you can make. Men, whether they say it out loud or not, they want to feel something. They want to be stirred up. They want to be curious. But you can't expect him to feel something if your words don't bring any energy to the table. Hi is safe, it's comfortable, it's boring. That's what people say when they don't know what else to say. And trust me, if you're trying to spark attraction, safe ain't the way to go. You need to disrupt his thoughts. You need to make him pause. That's how attraction works. It ain't always about beauty, it's about emotional impact. And you don't get that from hello. Now, I'm not saying you need to be over the top. You don't need to come in singing or doing cartwheels. But you do need to say something that sounds like it came from you. Not a script, not a habit, something that actually has some life in it. Something that makes him raise an eyebrow and think, okay, who is this? Because that little moment of surprise, that's your opening. That's where his mind starts to shift. That's when he starts seeing you different from every other woman who walked up and said the same tired line. It could be simple. Say something like, "Took you long enough to find me," or "I knew today was going to get better once I saw you." That's not complicated, but it's different. It carries a vibe. It brings emotion. It makes him feel like you're already connected somehow. And that's how you catch his attention before he even realizes what's happening. You can change the whole energy in a room just by choosing better words. It's that powerful. What people don't realize is that attraction starts in the mind. Not just the body, not just the eyes. It starts with the way someone makes you feel when they speak to you. And if your words feel like an echo of everyone else's, he won't remember you. But when you add a little twist, a little personality, it stays with him. He might not even understand why, but something about you will linger in his thoughts. That's how connections begin, through emotion, through mystery, through the unexpected. And don't think you got to sound like someone else to make an impact. Use your own flavor, your own voice, your own rhythm. The most attractive greeting is the one that feels real, the one that feels personal. So skip the robotic hi and replace it with something that shows you've got some soul, some confidence, some warmth. That's what sticks. That's what flips a man's whole day upside down. Because you didn't just greet him, you made him feel like the moment mattered. You want him to go crazy for you? Then say something that no one else says. Give him a reason to remember you, because when you do, you stand out without even trying too hard. That's how you create interest. That's how you flip the script. Stop being generic. Stop being predictable. You're too powerful for that. Let your first word carry some weight, some charm, some spark, and you'll see just how quickly he starts chasing that energy again and again. Let me break something down for you. Most people think men don't need compliments, don't need reassurance, don't need to feel chosen. That's a lie. Men crave attention more than they let on. They may act cool. They may walk around like they don't need nothing from nobody, but deep inside, they're hungry for that feeling. That feeling that says, you see me, you notice me, you value me. And the wild thing is, they rarely get that. You know why? Because most women wait for the man to make the first move, to say the first words, to lead the whole interaction. So he's used to being the one chasing, trying to impress. He's never the one being seen. Now imagine what happens when you flip the script. Imagine what happens when you're the one who greets him in a way that makes him feel important. Not in a desperate way, not in a needy way. I'm talking about confident energy. That kind of energy that says, I see something in you worth my attention. That hits different. That leaves a mark. That makes a man stop in his tracks because it's rare. You want to know how to make a man go crazy for you? It starts in that first second. When you make him feel like he matters, like he's not just another face in the crowd. Forget high. That's basic. That's neutral. That doesn't tell him anything about what you think or how you feel. But when you walk up to him and say, you know, you're a little too easy on the eyes to just walk past like that. You're giving him something he never forgets. That's more than a greeting. That's validation. That's attention. That's you letting him know he has value in your eyes. And trust me, when a man feels like you see him differently, that energy becomes addictive. He'll want more of it. He'll want more of you. You don't have to overdo it. It's not about giving him all your praise. It's about giving him a moment, a spark, a sentence that says, you stand out to me. That's all. Because the truth is, men don't get told they're handsome every day. They don't get told they're intriguing. They don't get told they make someone's day better just by showing up. So when you do that, when you're that woman who leads with intention and presence, you immediately set yourself apart. You become the one he remembers. Not just because of how you looked, but because of how you made him feel. You see, men chase what makes them feel good, not just physically, but emotionally. That's the part nobody tells you. They'll walk away from a woman who checks every box physically, but if she makes him feel ordinary, he won't stay. But the one who made him feel seen, the one who spoke to his heart without even trying too hard, that's the one who stays in his mind. That's the one he finds himself thinking about when the room goes quiet. And all of that can begin with one sentence, one greeting that's full of intention, not just routine. So you gotta understand the power of making him feel chosen. From the very start, you can give him something he didn't know he needed. A connection, a compliment, a moment of recognition. And that right there can shift everything, because once he sees you as the one who saw him, not just the other way around, he's hooked. He's not going to forget that. He's not going to let that energy slide past. All you did was speak from your strength. All you did was greet him with something that carried weight. And suddenly you weren't just another person saying hello. You were the experience he didn't see coming. You want to know what separates a woman who gets remembered from the one who gets ignored? It's how she makes a man feel in the first few seconds. That's it. Not her outfit, not her hairstyle, not even her perfume. It's the emotional punch that comes from the very first words she says. And I'm telling you right now, if those words are dry, if they're generic, if they sound like something copied from a script, you've already lost a moment. You don't get a second shot at a first impression. You want to grab his attention and hold it? You say something personal, something unique, something playful. That's how you make emotional impact without even trying too hard. Men are used to hearing the same things over and over. Hi, what's up? How are you? These are fine for checking in with your neighbor, not for sparking connection with the man you want to draw in. That kind of energy is cold. It doesn't light anything up inside of him. But you flip the script, you say something unexpected, and now he's leaning in. Now he's curious. Now he's wondering, who is she? And once you've got his curiosity, that's when the magic starts. Try this. Walk up to him and say, I hope you're not as charming as you look, because I didn't come here to get distracted. That's playful. That's bold. That's personal. You didn't just acknowledge his looks, you brought humor into it. You created a moment. He'll feel that. Or maybe you smile and say, I knew the day would get better once I saw you. Now you've just made him feel like he improved your day. That's powerful. That's not just small talk. That's emotional connection in one sentence. When you say something personal, it tells him you're present. You're not just reciting a line, you're tuned into him. You're noticing him. Men aren't used to being noticed like that. Most of the time, they're the ones trying to impress, trying to be seen. But when you flip it and you're the one seeing him first, it hits different. He's not expecting it. And in that surprise, you've already created space in his mind for you. That's what a personal greeting does. It makes you memorable. Now let's talk about unique. You don't have to be a poet or a comedian. You just have to be real. You just have to come from a place that feels honest and fresh. Think about the way you talk with your best friend. That ease, that spark, that flavor. That's the tone you bring into your greeting. Not stiff, not robotic, real. That's what makes your words hit deeper. It's not about impressing him. It's about creating a moment that feels authentic. And when a moment feels authentic, it leaves a mark. Playful, that's your secret weapon. Playfulness is confidence in disguise. It's charm wrapped in fun. When you tease him a little, when you joke with him, when you flirt in that light, effortless way, it wakes him up. It relaxes him. It opens the door to real chemistry. Say something like, I bet you already know your trouble, don't you? That's fun. That's flirtation with an edge. He'll smile, maybe even blush, but he'll remember it, and he'll remember you. Don't let your first words be forgettable. You're too powerful, too interesting, too full of life to sound like everybody else. Say something that feels like you. Say something that shows you're not afraid to make him feel something from the start. That's where real attraction is born, not in perfection, but in personality. And when you greet him with that kind of